Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Humans of AI podcast. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Dr. Ines Vodopivec, a leading figure at the intersection of history, technology, and information science. With a rich career spanning roles like Deputy Director at the National and University Library of Slovenia to her current position as Vice Dean at Nova University, Ines is now also the Secretary General of AI4LAM, short for Artificial Intelligence for Libraries, Archives, and Museums. Her organization is dedicated to guiding these vital cultural institutions into the age of AI. Ines, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with a spark. Your background, Ines, is deeply rooted in libraries, archives, and museums, institutions that are often seen as custodians of tradition and memory. What was the catalyst for creating an organization focused specifically on artificial intelligence? And what fundamental challenges in the cultural heritage sector is AI4LAM trying to solve?
Going back to the questions being related with the cultural heritage, not only libraries but different institutions over the past at least 20 years, working with digital projects with digitization, being impact as improving access to texts since 2010, making collections available online, searching for funding projects, etc., etc. It is a kind of, I would say, natural flow to go with the technology and to be able to make available all our heritage to the wider public, because we see over the decades that, of course, people, our public, our users of any kind, young professionals, educators, researchers, whoever, they're all keen to new technologies and to adapting new ways how to reach their, I would say, final goal in a quality but also fast way. And of course, cultural heritage institutions are the ones that are always facing the challenges how to adapt our systems, how to adapt our workflows to better serve the communities we are supposed to. So our vision with AI4LAM is, of course, to be a positive change maker. And we see that also is very well accepted also with our communities. We just launched Digitize, Transform, and Inspire initiative with Icarus, Transcribus, Time Machine, and other networks in Vienna just 2 weeks ago. We cooperate with cyber humanities and cybersecurity. We work in areas of, as I said, multilingualism. Also, for example, with archaeologists, archivists, and chemists in providing data in the data cloud of cultural heritage. So there's huge potential in cooperation for a positive change in cross-sectoral environment. So I think this is just a natural way how to deal with new ways, and AI is of course with us. It's not new; it's here for some time, but maybe it's more of interest to the I'll say the everyday users, because it's we talk about it a lot in the last years. But of course, it also gives us an opportunity, or okay, I'll say cultural heritage institutions have the opportunity now to embark on this train, jump on the train, and be in the game also further on.
So that's how it started. But now let's look at the impact and what AI is enabling. As the Secretary General of AI4LAM, you have an incredible bird's eye view of innovation across the sector and what's emerging. Could you share some examples of AI4LAM's members' achievements that show how AI is tangibly changing the way we interact with or preserve cultural heritage?
Yes, of course. If I may start, so AI4LAM is a global organization. That means that I work with institutions from the United States, Europe, Australia, and other parts of of the world also. And of course, what I see in everywhere where I speak with cultural heritage employees is, first of all, the fear of new technology. First thing that we want to address with our organization is to be a positive change makers, so that the digital transformation with AI happens in a trustworthy and reliable way. And this is our first, I'll say, mission that we try to establish also with all of our partners. With all of our partners, I mean, for example, National Library of Norway, Stanford University, Library of Congress, Smithsonian Institution, Bibliothèque Nationale de France, British Library, etc., etc., etc. So these are really the institutions that are, I'll say the I'll say the names of the cultural heritage, the ones that everybody is referring to. But of course, the same as smaller institutions, for example, my National and University Library in Slovenia is, I would say, a smaller institution. And the bigger ones, we're all facing the same challenges at the moment. And of course, AI can help us with our workflows. For example, with our inner workflows, that means that, for example, the procedures we use to support our work, and I'll go to that later, as well as to the ones that are more connected to to our services. That means the what we can offer to the final users. If I go concretely in some examples, is that, for example, AI can be very good used in metadata production. You have huge departments typically, with personnel just producing metadata. These departments typically use a lot of HR resources and a lot of funding for the production of something that can be done today more automatically. Where you need a human in the loop is the intelligence of people who can then be, of course, the quality control, the ones that are maybe enriching the metadata, working with data, with professionals, with researchers, so that institutions can offer the data in a way the projects and, for example, universities also need them for their own work. So the shift from just making something more of a manual work of something that the machine can do to the intellectual power of people, that's the I would say the biggest change that we can achieve. The second one, of course, is connected with our final users. Um, we have to know that we are here because we have our users. If we don't have our users, our goal or our aim is not reached. So, if we want to offer the access and the use of our collections to our final users, that they know that we are here, that they know that they can reach us, that they can use the collections, then of course our services need to be changed in a way that the users expect us to offer them the collections now. I'll give you an example. For many years, of course, libraries, and typically my background is librarianship. Also, we were searching for the aims, how to contact our users. What is our role in the society? Everybody was going to Google. Nobody was going to the collections anymore, like a physical collections anymore. So of course, the normal process was to digitize the collections and put them online in open access so that everybody can reach them from their own home or wherever they were, working office, for example. Now the users expect the information even in a more different way. So they expect us to give them I'll say, an abstract, which they can also get on for example, the generic AI tools and services online, like ChatGPT or any other. Which means that, of course, we have to also change the way how we offer the data, the information through our online systems. And that's something that also there are a few cases that is AI very well used also in the digital collections.
So essentially, you're adapting the interface with your users to new technologies and trying to meet their expectations. You also mentioned challenges and at one point, even fear. Let's talk about those hurdles. What challenges do institutions face when they try to implement AI, whether we're talking about a large national library or a small local museum? Is it a lack of funding, a shortage of technical expertise, legal uncertainty, or something more fundamental? What do you hear when you talk to stakeholders?
Yeah, I would say everything that you mentioned, but particularly first thing that is happening is, of course, that the AI is today evolving so fast that nobody can really adapt to this as quick as possible. So the first thing is that, of course, if you have like governmental institutions, like the national institutions, like libraries and museums and archives, the processes to change, to shift, to, for example, allocate more people to the and for example establish an AI lab or something like that is way more difficult and way more time consuming that we could imagine or wish with AI changes. So typically the adopting of AI, because it's evolving so fast, is the first challenge they have. And of course, this is then connected with funding and HR resources, because normally institutions cannot just say, okay, we will employ 20 more people and we'll have an AI lab. That's impossible. So what you need to do is to think how to re-educate your personnel, how to also maybe strategically look at how to implement AI. And here also institutional leaders are at challenge, because they know they have to adopt AI. They don't have any, for example, good examples which could serve them, like I would say a roadmap how to adopt AI in library. There's no guide to that. There's no roadmap. And of course, even if we have some recommendations from European Commission or from any part, but we don't, there's again something that you have to still adapt to your own internal systems. So it's I will say, a circle in which many institutions are now a bit lost. And from that part also, when you have some workflows already well embedded into the not only institutional, sometimes even national networks. I can mention now the library catalogs at the moment, or any other already structured not only workflows, but also, for example, metadata models or any other information systems that we are using. It's of course, again, very difficult to change that now, because you have sometimes you have licenses for people to work in. You have specific cases how to extract information. You have specific cases how to extract also. We have, for example, debates on what the data in cultural heritage actually is. Is that the metadata that is like typical metadata of authorship, provenance, like this basic, like a year of appearance or something like that? Or, of course, is this full text search? Is this, for example, also harvested web internet heritage, which is now today one of the the biggest cultural heritage, I would say, environments, which we are not addressing yet. So these are all the questions, of course, that we're facing.
So there are clearly many challenges, but let's hope we reach more clarity and resources soon. Now, let's look to the future. Initially, I framed this as a 5 year vision, but since it's AI, perhaps even predicting 5 months ahead is ambitious. So, looking at the coming years, where do you see the biggest opportunities for AI to transform how we engage with history, art, and our memory? And what specific role can policymakers, both in Brussels and in individual member states, what role can they play in ensuring that Europe's rich cultural heritage benefits from AI in a responsible and sustainable way?
Yeah, that is a difficult question. I think nobody knows actual exact answer to that. But one of the I'll say highlights that I would like to mention is, of course, that Europe has 24 official languages. And we are not addressing national languages in the way we should. So, although I know and work with different organizations, and that AI is not just textual research, so it's not only related to text and language development, but this is one of the basic AI, say, tools that we can use in all different other processes. Even if we need a guide, an exhibition guide, for example, we need translations for different languages, which again means textual resources. So one of the first things that would need to be addressed is the multilingualism of Europe, or actually any country or any continent. Even if you have minorities, for example, even if you have some special interest groups, etc., etc., you always have different languages that need to be addressed. So I would, of course, very much like to see that we go in this direction, also in the Europe. So if I think I can mention the case of Norway, which is one of the first countries now that will be not funding, yeah, kind of a funding the authorial rights to the rights holders to be able to train AI on the modern language resources, which is amazing actually, because if you train AI on historical texts, what you get is, of course, the historical output. So there are many things that we have to address in this specific area. Maybe also with relation of the internet as cultural heritage, because actually the new language is happening online, not in the published books. So what we need to do is to think how we can integrate the new cultural heritage, which will be of huge interest in 50, 70, 100 years from now, into common search databases. Also, not dividing the I'll say, like a physical production of books from the internet resources that people typically use today, and to find the ways how to support. And I will not say now AI, because AI actually is just tools and services. So with different tools, the access to information and to development of our intellectual power, which is huge in Europe, and we have to support it. So, of course, policies in this direction would be very useful, also in the European common also data space. For example, we have Europeana as a cultural data space, which I think is very useful also in this particular subject. So, connecting all the dots together, thinking, and also, I'll say, cooperating, and not only among cultural heritage institutions, but also with research, also with innovation. We are a part of innovation. We can be a part of the tourism also in Europe. We can do a change and reach out to communities, or to people, to groups that are maybe not integrated in culture as much now, and we can make a use of that with different tools and different accesses.
Thank you. That's uplifting actually, and it's encouraging to hear how much is happening, with even more possible if the right support is in place. As we are at the closing, you've already shared valuable advice for policymakers, but if there were one key message you'd want both policymakers and the public to take away from our discussion today about the future of AI in cultural institutions, what would it
There
be?
are different messages, if I may say so. One is to cultural heritage institutions and workers, is that AI is here and it's going to be here. It's going to stay. It's not going to go away if we neglect it. So it's better that we use it in our workflows, in our work. That we take advantage of it, we adapt it, similarly as we adapted, for example, Microsoft Windows. when we're not typewriting anymore. So that means that we adapted systems that help us work. This is the first thing that we have to do. So to see the positive opportunity in AI tools. And again, I think we will start omitting this AI, and we're just gonna speak about tools and services in the future, because this is the technological development that is happening, and it's similar to as I compared it to Microsoft or Apple or any other. So what we should do is to think of it positive. Second is, of course, how we use it in the for in the institutions or for our work. And here we need to be smart enough to use the tools for the benefit, of course. And we sometimes we hear, yeah, AI is hallucinating. Of course, but you have to be so smart that you know that it's hallucinating, which means that we need even more knowledge than we needed before. And I don't think that sometimes we hear this fear, yes, nobody's thinking anymore because AI is doing our work. That's not true, because eventually we'll have to think more to detect the errors that AI gives us. It's just a tool that can help us, for example, with grammar or with something that is really out of your primarily scope of work at the moment. And for the policy part is that we need to think how to, of course, address not only historical collections are great if they're online, but on the other side we have, I think, 7% of all the archival materials digitized, and there's a lot of cultural heritage, as I said, in digitally born on the internet already, which means that, of course, we have to think that also how to process, how to manage, how to deal with that, how to deal with uh, peta and petabytes of data, which is so huge that it's actually inaccessible to nobody. And that will need to be regulated in a way that people can use it, that authors still have something in return, so that there's still authorial rights that are respected, and that we reach to a common consensus on that. But for that part, we need to work together.
Thank you so much, Ines. I think ending on the theme of working together is a wonderful way to close. As you said, collaboration will be key, bringing together the resources of cultural heritage institutions and the people behind them. Thank you again.